Welcome to MotoGP Mac. We're on our third weekend of February, and we're looking at this new Superbike World Championships about to come up. The testing is going to be the 20th and the 21st. So we're going on to new and different things on this podcast today. We're going down a notch. We're going to our production bikes. So
production bikes, go.
Yeah, well, production-based bikes. Let's put it that way.
So the fairings look the same, you mean?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. The Kawasaki is. I'm sorry, the Kawasaki is freaking ugly, isn't it? I mean, what did they think when they did that? Like, every time it comes around the corner, you try to get used to it. It's like, oh no, it's still ugly.
I actually thought someone dropped it or hit something. It was like, oh, all right, okay. The first time I saw it, but yeah, exciting. Portimao is the test, is it?
Yeah.
Where are they testing?
Portimao.
Be interesting. That's such a great circuit, man.
Yeah. All the elevation changes.
But just the circuit itself is so natural to ride or drive on. It's like you're going around, but you can see like if you're coming down into the hairpin, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see the rest of the track and the undulation of it. So, like, if you can imagine, you're going on a roller coaster, you're sitting on the roller coaster, and you see
you go to the top.
There's a loop coming in further down the road. You're like, ooh, do you know what I mean?
I'm going to shit my pants right over there.
Yeah, exactly. Or I can't wait to get to that bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Do you know, because like on most other circuits, you can see 5 corners ahead of where you're going to be. Now, look, there's some in Portimao that you can see, but I suppose like from racing the transit around there, scooters, bikes, I just like it is, and like that last corner, it looks the most easiest corner ever.
That's the one that bites you right in the ass, isn't it?
If you're going off there, you're going off at high speed, but if you can imagine, because you're leaning over coming into the corner, but then there's the dip, so you're leaning over and your knee is touching, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as you go over the dip, it's like your knee then you need to go down another foot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're like, it's like an extra little lean. And
it's like when you go over those corners, there's one around here, and there's so many crashes there. They started putting up these signs that have like a turn. It's like a yellow and black with an arrow, and they put so many up around the corners. It's deadly because you can't get if you go off the corner, you'll end up hitting the bar, the vertical bar with your body. But they must have had 100 crashes there because you're going around and it goes from a flat, right, to an off camber, increasing radius, and you can't see it. It's when you just can't see it. You gotta like slow. Okay, there it is. It's like holy crap! Yeah.
Another corner that's actually really classic. That is the last corner in Sepang, actually, where it actually humps up in the middle. So you think you're coming in, and if you get it too close to the curve, or like a midpoint of the apex, you actually have to pick it up again because you're like your knee's going to slap up into the side.
Yes.
Of the bike, if you know what I mean. So it's like it's really. Really, really interesting, and I can't wait to see balls to the wall. And I suppose for me, what I can't really wait to see is that we're going to have a Superbike there for the test. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, the weather will be good, and then we'll compare a Superbike versus a MotoGP bike around there a couple of weeks later in the tests. Mm-hmm. I'd be really eager to see. Like I know Remy, but I know Remy was faster. The Superbike.
That was something.
Than the KTM. So right. I wonder,
there was an outside source to that. There has to be a story on that, but
look, it's
still interesting how close they are.
What's the budget for the bike development of a World Superbike team compared to a MotoGP team?
Yeah.
Even if there's half a second in it, it's fucking expensive half a
second.
Yes. So. Yeah, interesting to see. Superbikes, I think we're in for another barnstormer of a year.
Yes, we are.
I think Bautista has to prove himself, and that famous saying, you are a world champion, one. you're definitely a world champion if you do it twice. Do you know,
Yes.
do you know what I mean? So I think Toprak and Bautista have a lot to prove this year.
And they got more competition, a lot
Yeah.
more competition. Because you're not going to believe this, folks. Turn up the volume. I'm going to say this. Honda should be kicking ass in 2023, and BMW also. But Honda, they only have they have allowed, both of them are allowed to change their chassis, right? And none of the other manufacturers are allowed to. Only Honda and BMW.
Have you taken
And
your medication today?
what? Why?
You're praising Honda for
Yeah, I know. I
So-
always say I'm not biased. I'm just I go off of engineering. Engineering beats cheerleading every day. But
show me your pill box now. Show me your pill box.
I'm going.
I
Yeah, Honda's gonna win.
Yeah. Show me that pill box.
But they should, because they're the fastest through the traps, right? And they got Lacona as a rider. I mean, he's the real deal. That kid is.
Yeah,
right?
KTM made a real fuck up leaving him go. Like,
they stepped on their own dick on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and so they should be flying. Then again, it's Honda. When you say should and what happens is two different things.
Yeah, they were allowed to change the headstock of the bike, weren't they?
Yeah, yes, that's huge. That's huge. You know that.
Yeah. No, and no, look, that excuse was absolutely brilliant that they because we normally run on the bike was designed around Dunlop tires.
Yeah, right. I think the other teams were probably
Yeah. Ducati does Ducati come with Pirelli tires? Yes.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
There's a problem.
It's built
those guys are getting again. Yes.
It's built around road-going Pirelli tires, not road-going Dunlops.
Yeah, what cars did Yamaha come on or Kawasaki come on? No. We don't talk about that. Yeah. Why aren't Kawasaki allowed? Think of poor Kawasaki. Not only they got fined twice, okay, right? Then they won't let them off. For the rev limiter bullshit, right? Now Honda comes in, and they were always faster than everybody else when they came in 4 years ago. They had the fastest top speed, right? And they never got a fine, okay, or a restriction, and they give them a break on the frame.
Yeah, no, yeah, they get the headstock, but it was BMW. BMW got the sidewalls of the frame. They could change them to allow it.
Yeah, yes, and I think they did that because they said, well, you can't just give it to Honda and not playing devil's advocate. If you just gave it to Honda, it would look really fishy, and they want to see BMW come up a little more because
look, it's in the series.
But anyway you look at it, it's unfair. BMW shouldn't get it, and Honda shouldn't get it.
Yeah, no, it is in the interest though of Superbike or with the championship that they have 5 manufacturers battling. Do I believe that they should get the things? No. I mean, now look, we all have an awful lot of problems. Well, sorry, I have an awful lot of problems with these fucking specials. Like it should be based off of your standard road going bike.
Yeah, but I straightened you out on that. Didn't that? Matter of fact, one of our members figured it out.
No. The Superleggera was always. I was never thinking that it was a Superleggera.
Oh, okay.
I know the difference in that one. No, that's stupid.
But buy that bike. You can't even. It's like the Aprilia where you can't even put it on the track. You can't even put it on the road. A couple of them like that. Who else does that? Somebody else has one. You can't put it on the street. KTM. They have that parallel twin 888 or something like that. You can't put it on the street. It costs $40,000.
Oh no, you can put a Superleggera on the road.
Right.
If you crash it, you're paying.
Oh my God! It's so light. It's underneath the Superbike record, the minimum.
Yeah. So some wanker would think it was the BMW emblem on the front of the car and snap off a wing, like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, the HP4 you couldn't run the special for the BMW. The Aprilia has one out this year you can't run, right?
Yeah. Well, they've had that out for a while, the X1 or whatever it is.
I thought the X1's new. The BMW's been out for a while. The HP4, yes.
That's
one with a carbon fiber chassis. And you know what? I've never seen a comparison between that full carbon fiber chassis and the regular one.
Haven't you?
Nope. I've looked and looked and looked.
I thought there was one out about the. I think it was I can't remember the name, but the HP1, is it?
No, HP4.
HP4 camera, yeah, the race one, yeah. Because I actually saw one.
Right.
Yeah, I saw one of those in the flesh. Like, it is a track only bike, which is fair enough. I wonder though, does that actually class for homologation because it's not road going?
I don't. You're the guy with the rules. Every time it's a rule, I point to you.
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has to be a production bike. Whether
I'm the engineer guy, you're the rule guy, rider guy.
And the rule, yeah. Nice race, but the rule says your tires are half.
What are they going to do with these tire fit? I don't know what the hell they're going to do with this tire regulation. It's in MotoGP.
It's fucking dumb, right? Like,
yeah.
Like
first 2 races, it doesn't apply.
First 3 races, yeah.
3? Okay, see? Yeah.
First 3 races, it doesn't apply. But like,
so
there's so much up in the air with that, right?
Right.
Like it says that you have to be within the window at some point within the circuit, right?
Yeah.
But for fuck's sake, like, you could go off on a dry track, wet grass, right? It could take you fucking 3 laps to get your pressures back up.
Yeah.
Right. And then, like, there could be something where it rains and you had fallen behind because it is, and you decide to dive into the pits, right?
Yeah.
You take another bike for the wet weather tires and you jump the field, you win the race, but you're disqualified, and you don't know you're disqualified till after the fucking race.
Yeah. Mark Marquez made a good statement. He goes, "What happened is I come out and I go out in the lead and there's nobody in front of me, right? What am I supposed? And my tires get too cold. Am I supposed to let somebody pass, get behind him, heat my tires up, and then repass him again?"
But it's not even that, right? There's a couple of things there for me, right? And I hate bringing weights into it, right? But like, take Scott Redding versus Danny Pedrosa, right? The exact same bike, the exact same setup.
Yep.
But because of Danny's weight, he can run a lower pressure.
Yep.
Than Scott.
And it's a small man's sport. Sorry. Not a big guy.
But it's not even that. It's like, even take a small 5 or 10% weight difference in riders will change that weight that are the PSI needed.
It's exponential, yes.
So my thing is this: okay, Pirelli Michelin have to have a minimum safety limit, right?
Right. We can understand that, right?
But I think the tire pressure should be plus or minus, just say 5%, plus or minus what you start the race on. So if you start your race on X, you have to be within that window, because that makes it fair for everyone. Then, do you know what I mean? That if you're a light rider and you can run close to a thing and there's an advantage, it's because of your weight is the advantage.
Yeah. And I'm back to the same thing. Get Dorna out of it. Who knows more about this, Michelin or Dorna?
Exactly. And that's what your man, was it Oxley, got fucking stung for, because Michelin had, in conjunction with Dorna had visibility of it as well, right? But all those things were coming back, and the teams agreed to share their information openly with it. And your man popped it out there then that Ducati were cheating. Even though it was confirmed that the race before, Yamaha were done for it.
Right? Oxley's gone into the point of being, I think he used to be good. Now he's getting to be like a supermarket tabloid. So whatever he says, I take with a grain of salt.
Yeah. No, look, he was spot on, but his story was actually a story. It was a really good story, an interesting story that they're bringing in.
But he was going after the Ducati haters. Right?
He was going after Ducati, actually. Yeah, he was trying to imply that they were cheating.
Right.
But I think where it was is that for me, it was that it was a really good story. He didn't actually even need to go on this, but like, he could have broke the story that tire pressure monitoring is coming in. Now MotoGP have, I think it's McLaren Industries or whatever, have supplied the temperature sensor inside, not the temperature sensor, the pressure sensor inside the wheel, and that then is encrypted and goes back to the FIM or whatever, whoever, to monitor that. So the teams have no input into it except putting the air in the tire.
And it should be on case by case basis, and it should not be automatic disqualification. Especially if you, I mean, even murder, you have to have some kind of.
Totally fucking you would bring it into that way.
Yeah.
But you're right. Look, it's 100%. Like if you're behind someone, your temperatures and pressures go up.
I'm
if
not
you're
a
out the
thug.
front, it goes down. If you go across the grass, you lose tire pressure and
Right.
temperature as well. What you're now saying to riders is don't go off.
Yeah.
Don't lead the race.
Keep mind of it. Yeah.
Stay away from other riders on the track.
Yes. As you're going handlebar to handlebar,
Yeah. I look at it. It's funny, but like I think they have it. Superbike have it right where someone runs out onto the back wheel of the bike 30 seconds before the bike takes off, and make sure they're above the minimum tire pressure.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And then you're not starting on a pressure lower than the recommended or the minimum.
Because the manufacturer really is not going to put the rider in risk. There should be the one. Yeah. The Michelin's not going to put the rider at risk.
Yeah, exactly. Like the teams maybe will run it as close to that as possible, or maybe sub it so that the first few laps it comes up to that pressure. And I think maybe that's where they were trying to aim for. But
the range is 3.9 bar to 4.2 bar.
That's big though.
Why don't they use good old PSI that has 36 or whatever, so you know what the hell is going on.
Majority of races use bar.
I know they do.
Yeah.
Things, yeah.
But no, look. I think it's interesting. But again, I think MotoGP can learn an awful lot from the regulations that Superbike do have, right?
Right.
And like it's a simple thing that they have. You don't know who is going to be checked. Do you know what I mean? So like 5 fellas go out, they pick 5 random bikes, pop the thing on it, and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
But for people that say, well, they have it in Moto 2, but Moto 2 does not have 300 horsepower. So the difference is, it makes a big difference.
But I suppose for me, it's kind of like a waste of money that they've run away and they've designed all this pressure system, checking system, all of it, where the teams had it already. But all you as a regulator are trying to regulate is that they're not starting the race below a minimum pressure that the manufacturer said.
Yeah.
Not for 0.3 of a second or 3 seconds of every lap, you have to be within the tire pressure window. For fuck's sake, like.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to see now? The fucking lads there monitoring their tire pressures on while racing.
Yeah.
So like it just doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let them go out and ride the fucking bike. Not worry about tire pressures. Not worry about.
Well, they got a gauge where they let the tires more, with a button. That's the next thing.
Now, I know they have, like, I know Ducati and them have, like, a light if their tire pressures or their tire overheats. The light comes on. You often hear in interviews that say,
that's right.
It's fine until the light came on. And that light coming on is that the tire is overheating. So it gives them a warning to be careful that the tire's overheated. You might lose the front in the corner. It's a safety thing. It's fine.
Safety, right.
It's a visual thing. Bang, it's on. While that's on, it's thinking. But now you're going to have another fucking indicator going, your tire pressure is low.
Right.
What you see them fucking weaving down the track then at fucking 200 miles an hour to try.
And by the way, instead of having Dorna do these things, if you had the manufacturers doing it, the manufacturers would keep the thing even too. They're not going to let one manufacturer get away with murder, and
I just think it's NASA versus the Russians, like, spending hundreds of millions designing a pen that works in space and the fucking and like That's the way I see it.
I got
Right?
picked, 89 cents. Worth just the fine.
Exactly, but like I just can't fucking understand, Joe, why they don't just have a random person out there check the tire pressures before the race. We know they inflate and deflate depending where you are on the track. If you're out in front, you're going to run a lower pressure. Just like, fuck's sake, like, Joe, why make it so complicated when it doesn't need to be? But yeah, who am I to fucking credit?
Hey,
Who
but
am
I'll
I
tell
to
you what,
criticize that?
yeah. But I was glad to see that they didn't screw around. Maybe they were listening to us, Dorna, that they didn't screw around doing the let's vilify. We're using the right word for the Ducati for winning the championship. They didn't penalize them for horsepower or cut their top end or screw around with it. I hate that rev limiter bullshit.
Yeah. That's it's crap, really.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you see the thing about the sprint?
By the way, folks, the rev limits on World Superbike are less than they are in stock.
Yeah.
I mean, how pathetic is that?
Now, saying that now, right? To criticize World Superbikes a bit too much, right? With these fucking rev limits, right? I was looking at the rules, the nerdy rules, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, for this type bike, it's this. So like, there's like a 2018 Kawasaki ZXR 10. I'm like going, are we not in 2022 or 20? Who would be racing in 2018 in World Superbikes? Do you know?
Well, MV, they had a limit on it. And I said the engine was designed in either depends how you look at it, 1995 or 2000. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 2018. I mean, come on. How old are you going to? The thing still had handy heads on it, for God's sake. One of the narrators pulled the engine off and goes, "Oh, look how new it is! It has the chain, the timing chain up the middle." And I was like, "No, that's 1990s tech. It's so old they forgot about it." Had that big bulky transmission. Like at the end, they had mechanical failure. It wasn't the engine. What happened was they were trying to take they're running out of horse. Like there's no way to get any more horsepower out of it, right? So they were cutting down the transmission gears to try to get less friction because they had this big ass transmission from 1995. Okay, that was like a miracle year. I'm always shocked about that. How well they went. I mean, yeah, it was fourth and fifth, but when you have an engine that's 20 years old, right, and you come up fourth and fifth, and you're better than the Yamaha, you're better than the Suzuki, you're better than the Honda. With that big budget, that was a miracle. They were pulling miracles right out of their ass. I got to give it to them.
Yeah. I just think, look, I think just closing off tire pressures, I think it's fucking retarded that you don't know whether you're going to be on the podium or disqualified.
Disqualified, yes. That's like
fucking stupid.
It's like hitting a fly with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
For the rider,
Sprint races next.
Biggest issue all year, and nobody sees it's coming. My prediction.
So, okay, you get 12 points for winning the sprint, but it doesn't go down as a MotoGP race win in the calendar.
Okay.
Which is just fucking stupid.
Stupid, yeah.
Rider bonuses. Carlo Espinata, or whatever his fucking name is, was basically still. Now I love him, right? Because he's just fucking old school, right? You know
he is old school. He's like, screw you, everybody looks like you. How about that?
Yeah. We made a rule. You need to go fucking sort it out.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, fuck off. We're not dealing with it. But yeah, look. I know when we said it originally that people were going on about, you get paid millions of dollars to ride a motorbike and whatever. And yeah, you do.
I was the one, yes.
Yeah, right. And you do. But you retire at 35 or 40.
But 1 year. Yeah, but 1 year you're set. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but listen.
And that same guy will be flipping hamburgers at McDonald's because what other skill set does he have? He was going to be a mechanic or something.
Exactly. Well, look, I think a lot of these people do come from money. I think it was very gone are the days where there was the young fellow who had nothing and just his natural talent carried him all the way to the world championship. But I do believe a lot of these guys have a lot of backing behind them.
Oh, they start now young.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think there's that, but I do still believe that if you're out there winning a race, you should pay for it. Simple. And if your bonus is this, but I think during a
I'll put it this way. I think that they should get paid for it if it turns out well. Like say, listen, if this increases our fan base by X amount, by 10%, you get 10% of that. You know what I mean?
I would see it very differently.
Why? Because then everybody's it's fair.
All you're doing is that you saying, and when we went through rider wages or salaries a couple of months ago, you saw a lot of people were on pretty low salary, except for Maverick, right? Because they had podium bonuses, top 10 bonuses within their contract, right?
Right.
Dorna then have brought in another race, which they're just saying, listen, we get on the podium, all we want is our bonus that's in our normal contract. You know what I mean? I think it's fair enough that it is a race. Like for me, the sprint races, people are saying it's the same mileage, it's the same thing. It is, but it's not the same.
Not the same.
Three now, right? You're going out there, you're going to race. I never did a practice lap as hard as I did a race lap.
It's a hell of a difference between that practice where you can shut it down, you can pull into the pitch, you can pull it off, you can check it out. Then you're going balls to the walls for 10 laps.
Exactly. And all the lads are looking for is what's per their contract for a race.
Yeah, but you're thinking like a rider. You're always thinking like an employee. I'm thinking like an owner, right? If it bounces, right? If they don't make any money on it, we're not getting the people in the door as it is.
I don't care.
Do their pit. They're making millions of dollars a year. They're doing way better than they used to ever have done in the history of motorcycle racing.
I don't care.
Pitch in a little bit. Take a little risk like everybody else. Walk a mile in my shoes that I have to put the money up in a whole bed yards.
I'm not worried about your shoes.
No shit.
You're asking
me to worry about you.
You're saying walk a mile in my shoes.
Yeah.
No one asked me, would I be up to do an extra race? So I'm like, fuck you. If you're not going to ask me, I'm not going to.
Yeah. And when I hire somebody, I don't ask them to do something that's different every day. I don't have to plan it out and say, well, you're going to have to,
but
we have to write every two more pages today. So now we're going to have to renegotiate.
No. You asked me to do 21 races for you. Now you're asking me to do 42 races. I'm saying.
No, you're not. Only 10 more. You got to go by the miles.
No, starts.
Now, remember, you told me it was 10. It's not really. You're half the difference.
Your mileage, but I'm doing 42 race starts.
Yeah, it depends how you look at it.
So that's the way I look at it. It's not
if MotoGP was rocking and rolling with people coming in and attendance was up, I'd agree with you 100%. But it's not. It's just like, hey, I can remember when Triumph kept saying, "Oh, the employees kept saying, the union kept saying, oh, you're making money, you're telling us bullshit. You're telling us money, you're making money, you're telling us bullshit," until they shut the doors, and then everybody was out of a job. Give a little back. Give a little back to the sport when you're making millions of dollars a year.
But it's not like.
I'm sorry to Fabio. He has to go a little bit. He can't go as far in his private jet. Okay, because the gas is expensive. All right.
Yeah.
Boo hoo. I'm sorry. You have to go to the next 10 laps.
I'll always come down to the rider's side in this, though. If they were asked, I think it would be a completely different story. You wouldn't want to go against me at a union meeting, now would you? I would, yeah, I'd love it. I think it would. Oh yeah, you shit would love it. Yeah. I actually, when I was a kid, I'm the nerdy rule guy. Yeah, right? I'm the guy that broke through the lines in the unions, like when you did the scabs that walk through. Right. And then, and get this, I beat up the union rep, the guy that comes in there, the bruiser. You know what I mean? He's gonna keep everyone on. I beat the hell out of him, and then they offered me a job. The union comes up with, "Hey, you want his job?" I'm like, "No." Guys laying there bleeding, Yeah. But I'm that nerdy guy goes, "Yeah, but on the article this, you're fucked." But no, look, I still think they get it. And look, we can go round and round in circles around it. But at the end of the day, if you hire me to do 21 races, fine. If you hire me to do 42,
yeah, whatever. Story. We hired you to run for the year. Get your freaking pansy ass on the bike. Anyhow, but the sprint races are going to be. Oh, talking of sprint races, MotoGP.com did this story. A little video. And how do the riders? What do the riders feel about how they feel about the sprint? And then they had Pecco on there. He says, "Oh, it's fine. It's different. Blah blah blah. The same pat answers."
He's getting his salary again.
Right? Guess what?
Yeah.
Every rider, every team went except for guess who? Yamaha. They didn't even show up. They didn't no interviews whatsoever because they didn't like it right from the get go.
No, neither does Aleix Espargaro. His comments were the stupidest idea ever.
I think he changed his mind. I'll re-look at that.
He probably got his. He probably getting paid too.
Yeah, right. Like, shut the hell up. Stop being a pansy. Get your ass over here. You're 34. You're lucky if you have a ride as it is. You know what I mean?
He needs the money this year.
Yeah.
But
it was funny. I'm thinking, and I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm going, Yamaha hated the thought of the sprint races right off the bat.
Can you imagine in the start of the 2023 season, if I'm very honest?
Yeah, I mean they're like sitting there going. Remember, Lynn Jarvis telling him, "Hey, what happened to the 22 engine program? Oh, it all blew up. And anything else? Yeah, by the way, we got to do 10 extra sprint races too. The gauze are shitting down my neck. He must have been like, this is the last thing I want to hear."
Yeah. And look, I really hope Yamaha can start things out. Like the worry that they don't have one lap qualifying pace.
Yeah.
Is a major worry. And I was only thinking of this actually today in the car, and I was like, I wonder have they engineered the chassis to protect the rear tire? Because remember last year they're saying is like, the rear tire just gets too hot and we're done. And then it's just like, have they kind of engineered it so that the bike is lighter on the tires? Because what Fabio was saying, I had a 20 lap old tire and I was still able to do 2-minute dead laps. Do you know what I mean? Which is brilliant. And then you're like, shit. Then they bolt in the new ones, and it's not like they just can't get the heat into it to do a fast lap. So I'm like, anyway? Look, I think.
And hey, it was the same Aero package that he went 2 laps on and said, "Oh, this is crap. Take it off. Give me the other one back." Remember, they were trying to do the top end speed runs during the year for races, and it wasn't working. Physics didn't change between then and now. I hear it's a pretty constant thing. Physics, it's folks. We're not trying to put Yamaha down in this case. Honda, yes, they had the weak engineering. Yamaha is just stuck. They're just stuck with that inline 4. That's all there is to it. It's run out of development.
I don't care. Circle.
Yeah. I don't care who is the engineer, all right? They're stuck with it. I don't care if they had Ducati trying to make an inline 4 or Mercedes, or unless they had, unless they bring up forced induction, so they could run a higher RPM or higher horsepower to lower RPM.
Yeah, and I think there was a comment on it about a BMW F1 engine from years ago that was turbocharged. And I was like, it's not apples with apples.
No. What happens is they can put more air in it, because air is the toughest thing to get into the chamber. Okay, fuel's easy. You would think it would be backwards, but it isn't. If you can get the air in there, right? Then you can put more fuel on it. If you force the air into it, then you can get that horsepower at a lower RPM. So then you don't have the flex in the
but even the whole design and nature and how the engine is mounted, everything like that is completely so. Like, it's not like at all. Like the engine in the inline of a Formula One could actually be much heavier and built to take the horsepower, whereas in the MotoGP,
because the reciprocating mass wouldn't affect the chassis as much.
Exactly.
It's a bigger chassis.
So hey, look at that fucking engineering from me.
Look at you,
And Mr. fucking rule book, throw that out the window.
I'll get the rules down and you'll get the engineering by the end of the year.
Boom. But look, I think I'm just struggling with it
And
because
folks, Suzuki had all kinds of engine problems too. I keep telling people that, like, but Suzuki did it. No, they didn't. They were screwed. If they didn't get that extra engine by the end of the year, they'd have been starting at pit lane. Okay, that was like a gift from the gods.
Yeah, from the gods. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'd love one of these days to get a hold of an ex-Suzuki engineer. He's now currently in Yamaha, and I'll try and start conversations with him in the next couple of weeks and see if we can maybe talk to him. Probably not at the start of the season because they're all going to be flat out busy with what's going on at the start, but maybe in the middle of the season we try and have a chat with him. Also, I'd like to take this time to say that if someone would like to come onto the podcast, not maybe every week, just come on and talk about why you're so passionate about your teams or whatever it is, you're always welcome. Jake will not bite. He'll be he'll be very respectful.
Yeah.
Even if you are kind of a fanboy, a little bit respectful.
Yeah, well, I don't push it. We love fans, but those delirious fanboys, they'll just
but no, look, I think I'm looking forward.
But you know what? No one else likes the delirious fanboys either. I think that's what makes our site so much different and better. We got a real good set of real actual MotoGP fans. We don't have fanboys on there. We have fans. We have Honda fans, Suzuki fans, Yamaha fans, but we don't. The fanboys that get ridiculous and delirious, they go by the wayside soon enough.
Yeah. So look, I think we just continue just being who we are and what we are. Marc Marquez All In is out this week as well, the 20th, which is Monday. Isn't that the same day as this is going out?
Yeah.
What day is today?
Today's Saturday.
18th. Saturday the 18th. Yeah. So. Yeah, Monday, Marc Marquez All In. Going to see the other side of Marc Marquez.
Oh, is this the video we're talking about?
It's the video, yeah.
Yeah.
Premiering on, I think, Prime, isn't it?
Prime, yeah. I didn't even know how to get HBO Prime. And I had HBO.
No, it's Amazon Prime.
I don't know how the hell to get that.
Go on to Amazon.
You forgot to say "you dumbass" at the end of that. You're thinking it, but you didn't say it. Just go to Amazon. You dumbass.
I'm being politically correct. I'll send you the link later, Jake.
Yeah, I'm about as politically correct as a brick through your window.
Yeah. We know at this stage. And
I was in politics. That you should have seen that. Oh my God!
I think that's a car crash, to be honest.
You know what? I won by landslides. I'll give you. I've told you this before, but
were you kissing babies?
No. I'm coming rolling up in a motorcycle. Right. I'm 38 years old. The girl in the back is like 24. The reporters rush up. Right. Oh my God, you're going out with a young girl. I said, yo, listen. If liking beautiful young women is wrong, I don't want to be right. And everybody just like took to the lab book. Went, okay, these guys just admits it. There's no, they don't care. There's no controversy here. He's just like, yeah. Good work if you can get it, guys. Nice and tight, You say you think Bill Clinton's bad? You got to side Jake. Jesus God, he sleeps at every,
He'd sleep with himself when he could turn.
Yeah, all the political fan, the interns. It's the guy who slept with them all.
Yeah, good man. So you'll be actually shot if you actually had a MotoGP team.
Yeah. Don't forget, I had a Superbike team.
You did? Yes,
I did. Yeah. But I got this. I wish I could take it off. We won Daytona, 2011, for ARCA. Hold a second. I might be able to get it off the thing. It's worth the wait, folks.
It's worth the wait. That's what she said. Don't crack the wall.
I can't get it off the.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Grandad. Sit down before you hurt yourself. Oh, that's a lovely T-shirt you have on there, mate.
Sorry, I can't get the plaque off the wall.
Yeah. That's a lovely T-shirt you have.
What? Oh, yes. Yeah, but no, I have a plaque for it. I had one for a year with the I had a B factory one of the factory EBR racers. Jeff May's bike. I actually took it off the Mid Ohio race. They pulled over. I put it in the car, put it in the truck, and took off with it. They got extra engines and everything else. Dealing with Eric Buell, who's a schluck. To be honest with you.
So what's funny about this right now, guys, is that Jake hasn't seen the latest video that has gone out. And today's latest video that has gone out on Saturday is about the side Aero in MotoGP bikes.
Ooh, yes.
Right? And since it's come out, I've been struggling to find a way to explain it. And our friends in GP1 put a lovely little picture set together.
That's right. I remember you saying you had that.
So I put out the video today. But it really, really shows, and I think Colin Chapman, who was the granddaddy of ground effect,
Yep.
would be very proud of what is actually going on, and is most defined really on the Aprilia bike. But you can see where they're building the diffuser by the foot of the rider. So where his rider, and you can see the gap where it goes at, and it's just, for me, that's the Aero I find brilliant. Really, like, I think front wings and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
They're boring. They're boring, right? This, for me, is real aerodynamic understanding.
Yes, I love it. I'll be honest, I love it. That's so cool.
And it was just like, the more I was doing, and then when I was like, I was kind of getting nerdy. I had to shoot the video 3 times, right? Because I was like, going, yeah, and I was like, oh, fuck it, let's just keep this simple. Do you know what I mean? The pictures are explaining it. Do you know what I mean? But you can see now where the likes of Red Bull and all of these Formula One teams that are aiding the MotoGP teams are going to go fucking bananas.
Yeah.
And this kind of as well came from a comment that, remember when we were talking about stepping onto the bike with a ladder, like Formula One guys do. If you remember the Formula One cars prior to the Halo, just behind the front wheel, they used to have what are called barge boards, right? But that became the technical area of the car. That was the area what was driving a lot of the downforce in the car. You had your front wing, you had your rear wing, but the front and rear wing were, how would you say, heavily regulated. But
you know a lot more about engineering in the Formula One than I do.
Yeah, but in that spot was like an unregulated area, right? So they were fucking jammed. So if you go back to the Formula One cars, say 3 or 4 years ago, you would see that area was like heavily aerodynamically focused. A lot of carbon fiber in there, turning vanes and this, that, and the other. And I think the F1 guys, when they get a hold of that with the side pods of the fairings, they're going to go to town. It's going to take some time, right? It's right. But like I was sitting there last night and I was like, I was seeing things that they could probably do with the Aero, and I was just like, this is going to be crazy, I think.
Right.
But
I'll tell you what, my nephew is an aerodynamicist. An aerodynamicist is the same as a aerospace engineer. It's like one half does the other. And so is my cousin. But neither one of them, they're the last person you're going to see on a podcast. So they're very quiet. They're like very quiet, but then if you tell them they're wrong, you think you let a tiger out of the cage. So it's definitely not the person you want to have on the podcast, right? I mean, they're quiet, but they're like worse than me. If you said, "Oh, you're wrong," you're like, "What?" They cut through the screen. But I'm going to say what I don't understand with the new aerodynamics is with the Ducati has the round and Aprilia had the round one, right?
Yeah.
And then the diffuser type. There's like 2 different types you're speaking of. And I don't know the differentiation between the two that well. Right.
So the downward ones are a little bit differently focused, but realistically what they're doing is the same purpose. Do you know what I mean? About creating
and this.
But it's just 2 ways. But what Red Bull have done, and I think, is that they call them bunny ears or something,
Yeah.
and the ducks at the front, and now it has one feeding the other, I think. So it's a little so Red Bull's one, or sorry, KTM's one is probably starting to advance more than even Aprilia's ones. Like Aprilia are still ahead of the game on it, right? They're
Yeah.
really fair. Like you can fucking see the diffuser on the side of the bike. It looks like a plastic gully on the side,
Yeah.
and you can
Yes.
see
Yes.
that it's
Yeah.
like this is a
Yes.
diffuser. So if you look at the arse end of a Formula One car, you will see very much the same, and you can see how the diffuser squeezes in to accelerate the air before it gets to it, right?
Right. Right.
So like you can see that with the Ducati and the other ones, it's very hard to see it yet with the bunny ears, you know. But
Right.
I think possibly where Ducati and KTM are going with it is it's probably at the midpoint of the belly pan, at the bottom of the belly pan is where they're going to try and energize.
Okay.
Not up by the rider's foot where Aprilia are trying to energize. So it's kind of going to be a different.
I could see that would probably because it would be a better airflow there.
Yeah,
It looks like a better airflow from the onset, but
yeah. So look, it's definitely going to be it's definitely going to be an interesting spot. But
did you read my post on that on Yamaha?
no.
I was shocked, and I got it from a good source. Yamaha does not even have an aerodynamicist on staff.
Oh, that's interesting.
You ain't kidding. I mean, when they say the Japanese copy, that's all they have an option to do. If you don't have one, I didn't even how. I questioned it just because how are they doing it if they don't have an aerodynamicist?
Yeah, they're probably factoring it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going, how the. I mean, okay, that's kind of it's specialized. How would you know?
This comes back to what we were saying months ago about the Japanese versus the Europeans, right?
One innovates, one copies. Yeah.
No, it's not even that. It's that when the bike is being built,
yes,
are factoring in aerodynamics, this, that, and the other.
Yep.
When the Japanese build the bikes, they build the bikes
and add it on,
and they go, "Oh, we've got the wings. This will do. And they're always like bolt on, add it on. And you look at Ducati, you look at, and they're all smooth into the fairing, thought about. You can see it. Whereas with Honda and things, it's like an afterthought.
Right.
And I would like to say it this way, though, and this is a thought I had the other day when I was talking about Marc Marquez and Bradle running the bikes without the Aero. Forget about the riders, right? Let's just say it was the same rider or whatever, right? And the same performance in the bike mechanically and whatever. But if they took the Aero off, the Japanese bikes would be fine. The European bikes would be fucked.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, no, they'd be. I don't think there'd be too much change in it for there would be obviously a change, but what I mean is that the fundamental thought process for the European bikes includes Aero.
Yeah.
It includes this. It includes that, and
but it'll jostle the Europeans for a month, and then they're going to come back and just tromps all over the Japanese anyway. So.
They'll test during a race weekend or whatever. They'll just bolt something to it that they need to try and not worry that if it fails and breaks and we look fucking stupid.
Yeah. If they drop the Aero, they would still beat the Japanese. Their engineering department is just so much stronger.
It would immediately. Yeah, but I suppose what the point I'm trying to make is that the impact would be probably less on the Japanese because they haven't planned to put Aero
because their Aero doesn't work. It's
yeah. Look how conservative Yamaha went with they did do the side effect, right? They did do the downward ducks,
right?
Very conservatively. Do you know what I mean? Look like a fucking bee sting compared to the boulders that Aprilia.
Yes, exactly. Or KTM now. KTM's right there with them now.
So it's for me, it's just this. And Like, I just want Honda and Yamaha. Well, I really want Yamaha more than Honda, being honest, to cop the fuck on and get racing. Do you know what I mean? Like, get back to the years that we can celebrate and winning again. Well, I can celebrate.
Yeah.
And it's just so fucking frustrating. Like,
Yamaha was always stronger than Honda in engineering. Honda was the one that really stuck to that. Let's just get the best rider, and we won't have to make the best bike.
well, yeah, but like, look at it this way, right? When Ducati, KTM, all of those came into the championship, even Aprilia,
Mhm.
the first thing they went for was a V.
Nope.
Aprilia were the Q.
They went with it. That Q was in line 3.
In line 3, and then they moved to a V. They went away and came back though, didn't they? Aprilia.
Not that I know of.
They went customer, didn't they? They didn't go.
Yeah,
They didn't go full factory. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they came back with the V,
Right.
and then Ducati came in straight to a V. KTM came in straight to a V.
Yeah.
So
Ducati came in strong. They just went the wrong direction. The ego got the best of them.
I think
Oh, you can't fix it. We will, and we're going to jump 10 years ahead of everybody. It didn't work.
It didn't work. Yeah, but look, at least they had the balls to try it properly.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
And I suppose they're now going to get paid with reward, and like, it's hard not even to say. I know Ducati didn't show much. They were working on the engine mappings in Sepang, right, a lot, which is good. They didn't show much in the side fairings, and I'm expecting more in Portimao from them, if I'm very honest. But I think, they are definitely the bike to beat this year again. Do you know what I mean? Aprilia could be there. KTM, all of our good talk about them prior to the season didn't really show.
Not yet. They haven't shown anything.
Yeah.
But God, they changed everything. I mean, like I said, Aprilia, they said they touched on everything. Aprilia just turned the whole bike upside down. I'm still looking to see if that has. I want to talk to Simon. I still think that has a full aluminum base.
Yeah.
On the chassis, I think they went with the MV. MV has it. Moto has it. The same setup with steel trellis chassis. But steel trellis chassis, at one time, it was it was the best thing on the planet, right? But that was 20 some years ago.
Because you could nearly engineer it to every track, so you could just put a new chassis, and it was cheap. And
believe it or not, that's what the carbon fiber chassis was supposed to be. They were supposed to be able to adjust that like every corner, every track, and that was the main thing about that. And it ended up they couldn't adjust it to anything. But they could adjust it to go straight. That was about it.
It sounds like a Honda.
Yeah, Honda had it first. No, hold on. First Kawasaki did it, right? Then Suzuki.
I would love them back in MotoGP. Actually, I must say.
Kawasaki, yes.
Yeah.
They had the money. Kawasaki is so big. Okay, they made Kawasaki Heavy Industries was so big they didn't have an identity, so they made Kawasaki motorcycles so people knew who the hell they were.
Yeah.
I mean, how big they have to be when you do that?
No, but I just I just remember the green going around the side of the track. I just love seeing the pure racing green of Kawasaki and how I miss it.
Oh yeah, and they why it was green? Because green was supposed to be taboo in racing, and they did it just just to say no, it's bullshit, and they made it green just to stick out.
Yeah. Well, just like the British, isn't it? British racing green.
Yeah. I love British racing green, by the way. I love that color.
Okay, no comment.
I like the Union Jack too. I hate the brakes in it. I stuck it with that. The Union Jack. Like, oh, you bastard.
We'll talk later.
It's a cool looking flag. What do you want?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Around country racing though. But anyway, what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah. So just one other thing is that someone said about comments being moved and deleted or whatever. So let me just tell you my policy. If you insult someone, I will absolutely remove it. Other than that, I don't remove it. Sometimes it's happened to me loads of times. I put up a comment and I come back later on and I'd see it's gone. So there can be filters that it gets caught in YouTube, or YouTube can just say we're not posting it. So if
Yeah, but you know what? I've had that happen too, and it's not even. There's no way they could pull it up as insulting. But it just happens. So I don't know where the hell they're going. Matter of fact, this last couple of days, it's been very bad. Like I get to the point, folks. If you can't get it on a reply, it usually doesn't come up again. Try to refresh it, and if it doesn't refresh, okay, then put it up as a whole new post, and then usually it'll fly, even when it's bad. When it's not, when it's dropping replies, just put it up as a post.
Yeah. So but look, just so people know, it's like I only delete posts that if they're insulting to people.
You don't do that. No.
Unless like if people are calling me not pretty.
Well, it's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you know what I mean.
Call me old. Yeah.
No, I'll call you retired.
I'm retired. Yeah. I'm old.
Politically correct. Yeah.
I'm old.
Politically correct way of saying it. But yeah, look, it's for me. We have testing this week in Portimao for
Monday, Tuesday
for World Superbikes. Who's going to end up on top, do you think?
Portimao. I'm going to go with the best rider on that one. So I'll go to Top Rack. I think it's a rider's track. I know he came in fourth in the last one, right? It's a rider's track. But I have to go with Top Rack because Kawasaki's another one where they're kind of dead in the water. They have that long, the combustion chamber. They still got the long combustion chamber. It's the oldest engine design. Absolute bullshit that they got fined or got rev limited.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be very honest with you, right? And what I love about
Ray has been really riding hard. His last year, he really stepped up his game. I mean, if somebody says Top Rack's better, boy, you're really splitting hairs between the two of them.
You are, yeah. Rider commitment, definitely. Yeah, see, this is what I think of Portimao. I love Portimao, right? I have a special affectionate thing with it. But Portimao really shows the weak point of both inline fours of Ray and Top Rack, and you can see it's like because when they come out of the second last corner,
that's the track you're talking about. Yeah, okay, yes,
and they literally hoop it like
acceleration.
It just kills them, and like Bautista should be, in my view, fastest there. Do you know what I mean? Because the amount of time. I think he's making at least 2 to 3 tenths on the straight.
Yeah, but he does lose out on the rest of the tight corners there because that also has the monocoque chassis. They call it a semi-monocoque chassis. They just did it for sales. You know that they didn't make it the same as, but a regular, traditional is the aluminum. The regular aluminum box chassis is better than that monocoque chassis it's got.
Yeah, but Portimao really only has 3 fast corners.
Really?
The rest are all acceleration zones. So, like, if you look at it, right?
But does it have a lot of tight corners?
It does have hairpins, but it comes out of the acceleration, which plays back into Bautista's hands again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, depending on it's a tough call because it depends how long it is. Between the hairpins. You know what I mean? If it's too short, then you won't have enough acceleration.
No. Like it comes out of a hairpin into a straight.
Okay.
Into a straight, which is a fast right-hand bend. Then into another 90 right. That's up over a hill, right? Actually, like that's all like lower end torque, which
torque V4 is torque, right?
And up over the brow of the hill, right? That's acceleration down the fucking hill again. You know what I mean? And it's all like, it's a squirty point and squirt track, like, do you know what I mean? It's just and
downhill.
Don't get me wrong. If you're how would I say this? The way I class it is that Bautista can ride whatever line he wants to, right? And I think, and this is why testing and qualifying is so weird there, right? But in the race, then if Bautista's in front of Ray, Ray can't run the wide lines to keep the speed up. Do you know what I mean? So it's advantage to the Ducati, and then he comes out onto the fucking longest straight. So I think it's like 20 seconds or something from the last or second last corner to the brow of the hill of where they leave off the fucking.
Yeah. But that is Ray's favorite track is Portimao. I think he has the record there.
He does, yeah.
All right.
He absolutely loves that place. Now, I'll tell you this, Jay. Any fucking rider would love the place. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just one of those fun tracks to go to. I was going to go to a track day in Catalonia, and I had to get the ferry anyway, right? And like my friend was just like, "What the fuck are you going to Catalonia for?" Now I've been around Portimao loads of times in the van and the scooters and all of this, and he's just like, "You got to go to Portimao." Like he's just like, Catalonia is just fucking child's play to this place. Like it's a rider's fucking circuit. Like balls need balls. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's quite a statement to say that Catalonia is child's play
compared to Portimao.
Yeah.
Fuck it is. Like, yeah. But it is. Do you know what I mean? Like Catalonia, like even in Portimao, the straight is it's bumpy. There's the tabletop sort of section of it. Do you know what I mean? Then you have coming downhill into the brakes. You're like, I'm not gonna stop. Do you know what I mean? And you can see the arm code that's going to catch you.
Yeah.
You don't.
I'm gonna die right there.
That's the spot. Do you know what I mean? But like it's, and then like you have the beehive, and then you up over the hill down into the fuck.
Yeah, I'm amazed when I see the guys ride. Because one, I was never that good a rider. I was always too big. Okay, everybody can outbreak me because Christ, I'm so damn big. You know, not fat, but just big. You know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger big. And now I can't feel my feet. For you new guys, everybody else knows, I can't feel either. I have no feeling in my feet or pain. My right hand, I got like half feeling, maybe. All right, and maybe quarter feeling in my left because of damage in my spine. Okay, so. Believe it or not, losing feeling in your feet affects your riding, and especially your hand. Like when you're, You know what I mean? If you're coming out of a corner and you're accelerating, there's kind of that feel of, traction or braking. Yeah. So my day's done.
You just watched the racing now, isn't it?
Yes. Those who cannot teach now, expression. Hey, by the way, folks. If you always hear saying they're having Yamaha inline 4, it's hit its end. It's a dead end situation for the horsepower, and it's exactly that. You won't hear us say it in World Superbike because in World Superbike the horsepower is what 240, something like that, 250, right? It's not at that 300, 325 horsepower per liter. The problem is it's like as long as they're below that 300 horsepower. Yes, the reliability is fine with the inline 4. It's when they hit that point, it's a dead end. It's like literally a dead end. It's like, okay, we can go so far, and then it's not an engineering problem now. Now it's physics. Now it's just too heavy and long, right?
That's what she said?
Yep, just too heavy and long, yeah. And if you lean over too much, it drags on the ground. But
it's all about good times.
Yeah, your mind's in the gutter. I can't help it. It's attached to my body. But
that's it.
But we're not being haters of anything. I'd love to see it inline 4. As a tech guy, I like seeing variety. I like seeing the inline 4 still on the grid. Just the same way I like to see the KTM with the steel trellis chassis. Except the steel trellis chassis, the flex versus stiffness. That was supposed to be ended at 200 horsepower. Then MV took the 240, right, which is supposed to be amazing. And now KTM's at 325. So they're like, they should have died on the vine,
years ago. Yeah,
years ago.
I think though with KTM, I think there's a lot more. I'm not going to call it engineering. I'm going to call it science behind their frame, especially with how they're able to 3D print them.
They're very strong in their engineering.
So it's not a case of like old school steel trellis chassis where there's like you weld bits in here and there, right? These things now are printed, and an area will be printed thicker or thinner depending to where they want to flex and that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that kind of has allowed KTM jump up more from the 240 to the 300. They're still struggling. They're absolutely still struggling. Like Miller said, and I think it was a very, very clear message to all rivals that, what makes us strong in the wet weakens is our weak point in the dry. And I 100% believe that's the chassis flex.
Yes.
So
they need a guy. I'm surprised they got Miller, because Leon Camier for MV made that bike that year, that made those super years that keeps telling about the miracle years or that. Because he's the best. He's the best. Gives you the best feedback in the world for super bikes. There's nobody that compares as Leon Camier for feedback.
Who was he the team manager of?
Honda. Yes. Poor bastard. He's like, oh man, what am I get stuck with? Yeah.
Put me up in Honda.
Yeah, he knows, and that's what they grabbed him for. He was supposed to fix it, and if it's inherent, and they said it's an inherent problem. That's why they let him to change the chassis. But really, they shouldn't allow him to change the chassis. If it's inherent, make a new chassis. They are Honda. It's not like the Royal Enfield. They can afford to change the chassis.
Yeah. No, look, I think it's interesting. I think the test will be good to see in Portimao. We'll definitely take note of the times as well and compare them from MotoGP. It'll be really interesting to see if the weather is good, what times do they both get down to. And I think we'll wrap it up there for this week, Jake.
Oh, no, one more thing. I told you. Yeah, everybody's just starting out riding, and I have a
you want to get your helmet out.
Yeah, I do. But no, this is the best deal for a helmet. They're called Necks. Okay, they've been around for a while, but this helmet weighs all of 1,200 ounces. Right? That's just there's 80% carbon, 10% Calvar, 10% fiberglass. Right? And I bought it for $179 new. Now I got that on a clearance. But these are Arai. They're handmade in Portugal, and they're exactly like an Arai. The design, the whole 9 yards. Except you have so much vision on the sides, like the side vision. You can't see any of the visor. Yeah, you can see the whole 9 yards. They've never had a person. A racer told me that turned me on to these things, and they are absolutely phenomenal. They're just the only thing is if you wear a medium, get a large. And when you do that though, if you follow that rule, you'll think that they made the helmet just for you. They fit that well, right? Yes. But it's so light, it's like a feather, and they're so strong. Like I said, they're the same specs as a Rai, that they're FIM approved. I mean that's the best of the best. This helmet right now because it's not on clearance, it's like $250, $300. Right, the same thing. They get the same quality like an Arai, because this has, like I remember I said, the carbon and the Calvar and the fiberglass combination. The other ones are polycarbonate, which is a plastic. Like I have a Scorpion. Everybody loves a Scorpion because of all the features it has on it. But that's no way near as tough, and it's good. It doesn't take the beating. It doesn't have the same rating as these do. All right.
Yeah.
This helmet would normally, if you get it in a ride, it's going to cost you $1,800 instead of $200 or $250. So how much?
That one.
Yeah. Oh Jesus! Did they kiss you first?
Oh, she.
Yeah. Wow. That's why I want to tell people it's such a. I must be part Jew because it was like, my God, that's a great deal. And for quality, not it's for value and quality of the product. Like I said, I've never seen anybody that didn't wear one and go, that's the best helmet I ever had. And I have all brands helmet.
Yeah.
I just want to tell people that stuff. Certain stuff I like to tell people just when they're doing builds, and if they have build questions, most of them it's a lot easier than they think. They overthink it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And look, if you're buying your helmet as well, always do your research. Joe, when you're buying your helmet for yourself,
or just doing a build. Most people, if you take their bike and they want to upgrade it, all you got to do is the main thing is get out your catalytic converters. I call it tree huggering it. Make sure it runs smoother instead of getting strangled, and then your bike will be much better. It'll work better all the way around.
Breathe in and breathe out, isn't it?
Yeah, don't worry about getting an extra 50 horsepower. Just make sure it runs smoother. It's getting rid of the EPA crap, and you'll find you have you'll be a happy camper.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Rightio. Well, we'll wrap it up there for this week. Thank you very much again, Jay. Exciting week with testing motorbikes back on. I don't know. Is it going to be shown live, or is this what?
I have not got word on that. I got worldsuperbike.com. It didn't have anything of any count. If it was, I thought we tried to do it live, something like that. I do the up at 3 o'clock in the morning deal, but it's at 11 o'clock. On Monday, it's 11 o'clock. What is GMT plus 11? Whatever the hell that is from my area.
GMT plus 11.
Yeah.
It's plus 11 hours. So GMT is ahead of you 11 hours? No, we're not ahead of you 11 hours.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I'm Eastern Standard Time. So I'm 5 hours difference between you.
Like if it's GMT, then that mean GMT plus 11, that'd be Australia.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking. But that's what it says on World Superbike.
All right. We'll have a look. Okay. Okie dokie. Perfect. Well, look, we'll wrap it there. And look, thanks very much for everyone for joining. Don't forget, very soon our t-shirts will be out. You don't have to buy one. Jake is going to say, yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Cheap bastards.
Anyway, perfect. Well, look, and we'll wrap it up there, and we'll see you all again next week.
Take it easy, guys.